It's Friday, January the 21st, 2022, and this video is all about Nikon, and more specifically, about Nikon's updated lens roadmap. Taking a look here, we can see that there's an awful lot of placeholders for various primes, zooms, and telephoto lenses, ranging in price from the entry level all the way up to the very expensive S-line lenses. We have a DX prime at 24mm and a DX zoom 12 to 28mm. Now sadly, we don't know any lens embodiments here. We don't know the aperture, back focus, minimum focus distance, or other key stuff that really helps tell the story of how good this lens is going to be for any given situation. Now turning to the S line, we have some pretty incredible lenses. The 400mm, which we already know is about to be announced by Nikon very shortly. It's the 400mm f2.8. It is a Z mount, TCVRS, and it's going to sell for a cool $13,996.95. And stay tuned, I've got a bunch of photos of this lens up close and personal. Other telephotos, we have the 600mm prime and a zoom 200 to 600mm, and those no doubt are going to be very impressive, and they're also going to be very expensive and likely break the bank. But that's not all. We're also expecting an 85mm prime, but again, is this going to be an f1.2, an f2.8? We just don't really know at this point. Now, considering it's going to be an S-line, I'd be willing to bet it's going to be an f1.2. What do you think? And if you've got the time, I dare you to take all these lenses and fill out the information such as aperture, minimum focus distance, and the like. Let's see how accurate you get once we get the announcement. But now it's time to take a look at a couple of photos of the Nikkor Z 400mm f2.8 TCVRS. Again, this is going to cost about $14,000, and it's absolutely huge, although that lens hood makes it look bigger than it actually is. And a lens like this on the Z9 is just going to produce incredible results with its 45 megapixel sensor. It's just going to be jaw-dropping. And if you're going to shoot video, 8K up to 60 frames per second, it's just going to be, well, it's going to be just absolutely incredible. And look at this. It's got a teleconverter built right in. I know. If I had the budget, I'd certainly love to have this lens. I'd even love to get my hands on it to do a review. But sadly, that's all the information I have on Nikor's lens roadmap. It's looking like it's going to be a good year for Nikon owners. I mean, we just got the announcement of the Nikon Z9. A lot of people had their fingers crossed hoping that Nikon would deliver a groundbreaking flagship camera, and well, they have. If I was to buy a flagship camera right now, I'd look to the Z9. It's, to me, in my opinion, it excites me far more than the Canon 1DX Mark III does, more than the R3, and more than the Sony Alpha 1. And I get it, there are some issues. Well, I wouldn't say issues, there's trade-offs always. But still, 20 frames per second lossless at 45 megapixels. But you can increase that frame rate all the way up to 120 frames per second if you're going to shoot down to 11 megapixels. And if you're doing social media, that's really all you need. I'm just really impressed with that camera. But again, a camera itself, no matter how impressive it is, like the Z9, if you don't have the lenses backing it up, it doesn't really matter. Lenses, as always, matter far more than bodies. So take a look at the lens roadmap, see if there's anything you like, and then save up your pennies, or as in the case of the 400mm, 600mm, or 200 to 600mm, you're going to be saving up for essentially the price of a car. These things aren't going to come cheap. But that's it for now. One last thing though, please like and subscribe. I take it as a virtual pat on the back, and it does help this channel grow. But that's it for now. We'll see you again soon.